the goal is to do what hopefully Hard Eyes achieved, which is take different pieces and tropes of different styles of filmmaking and marry them under the umbrella of a kick-ass horror film. So it's a dream come true. I hope to do it for the rest of my life, and just give us Hard Eyes too, please. Give
just
it to
you.
Us. Come on.
Exactly.
Yep, they throw a tad of the romance and comedy in there, and then they just go to town with the knives and the gore and the blood.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy V-Day!
Don't get killed, all right?
What was?
Why would he say that?
So Mason, I gotta ask you, you're quickly becoming our next big horror icon between this and the Scream franchise, and yeah, I mean, so what do you think? Like, how's it been? Have you been really embraced by horror fans? It seems like you've gotten super popular with them, and people on the site are excited to see
Thank you. I hope so. That means the world, especially because as such a fan of horror, it's nice to know that in being a part of it professionally, that people would respond to it in any way, shape, or form. But I do genuinely feel like horror fans are the best fandom in film, or really any, because horror.
About Swifties.
No, I in terms of how passionate and dedicated they are to creating and cultivating an experience, both in watching, talking, and sharing movies, I just feel like horror is the last genre to kind of have that through line and dedication in terms of an audience. That's why so many movies are horror, but with like a twist of like, oh, it's also this, and I feel like the goal is to do what hopefully Hard Eyes achieved, which is take different pieces and tropes of different styles of filmmaking and marry them under the umbrella of a kick-ass horror film. So it's a dream come true. I hope to do it for the rest of my life, and just give us Hard Eyes too, please. Give
Just
it to
you.
us. Come on.
Well, speaking of which, so Olivia, I have to ask you, how did you react when you first saw the Hard Eyes mask, and being kind of new to the genre? How did it feel being covered with so much blood through the whole thing?
Well, Mason and I actually had a very similar experience with seeing the mask for the first time, which was not on set. We were both in our first week of prep doing costume fittings and stunt rehearsals, and we hadn't yet seen the mask, and separately we saw the mask different times. Just similar experience.
Thank you.
It was just laying on a table in the costume department space. It was, I don't know. It was kind of okay. I don't know where you saw yours. I think in the makeup room. Anyway, I was like,
Spooky.
I was like, is that the guy? And everyone was like, that's him.
That's the guy.
That's the guy.
Oh, he's a lot shorter.
And I was like, oh my, a little deflated. I was like, wow, this is an intense mask. And then seeing it on like the body was just like a whole other experience. Which the first time I saw it on an actual body and a head was our first day of shooting, which was the bedroom scene, which is the first time that Allie and Jay see Hard Eyes for the first time in person. So that was a really wild and spooky experience. But the blood is a whole other level of I mean, I had so much gunk on me the whole movie, and there's nothing quite like coming home at 5 a.m. thinking that you got all of it off in the hair and makeup trailer, and then you are about to change into your PJs, and you're like, oh no, there's still so much more on me.
You'll hop in the shower and the whole thing turns pink, and you're like, oh well, at least I took a shower.
Yeah,
like,
it's bananas. It's bananas, but like the most fun in the entire world.
It's banana. That's the tagline. It's bananas.
Bananas.
Well, I gotta ask you, Gigi, I thought you were really funny in the movie, but if there's a Hard Eyes 2, I kind of want to see you fight.
Yeah, we'll do a little chonga fight. Monica takes her earrings off, and she's like, pull my hair up. Allie, hold me back, okay? Oh yeah, put
Solo's
Monica on Hard Eyes.
6 Hard Eyes killers.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Just like a chonga fight.
I can.
Hard Eyes and Monica.
If you want to see it,
Bad Girls Club.
take it to Twitter, X, whatever.
I love it. I love that.
I do. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
He's gonna keep killing people. We end it here.
Hey, come on.
ask you first things first. Was it always Hobbs and Shaw in the script, or did they add you? Or did they add that when you joined them?
It was always Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
Was it really? Wow.
It was always there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was your reaction the first time you saw the Hard Eyes mask? Because it's kind of immediately iconic, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Petrified. I was like, oh, and I got confused about the tone because I always pictured the emoji and I liked that because it's the horror plus the comedy. But then when I saw it, I was like, ooh, no, we're going hardcore.
Yeah, and I think Josh, like, he texted me a few times and he'd always leave that heart eyes emoji on the text. So I just, for some reason, I just assumed it was going to be a version of that heart eyes emoji. And then when I saw it, you're right, instantly iconic. It's you know this is going to be one of those, you know, we're going to see in 20 years part 12 or part 13, and you know it's going to be on T-shirts and cereal boxes, and so I mean, fingers crossed.
By the way, was kind of, I was thinking about it. He was like a spoof of 80s action kind of cop on the edge guys. Like I feel like he would have been the lead like 30 years ago in a movie like this, like Kurt Russell.
He was in my mind, man. He was in my mind. Every day I went to set, I was the lead.
So I gotta ask you guys, as beloved as you both are to the horror community, which you are, why is it that you think that horror fans in general are so loyal to the genre and like watching movies like this in theaters as opposed to streaming?
I think diehards are diehards, and like some of the nicest people I know go to like Halloween horror nights and love escape rooms, and like it's like a way of life almost.
Yeah, they're event people. They want to go out, and it's an event. Going to a horror movie, getting some people together and going, you know, and watching it in the theater and feeding off the crowd and throwing the popcorn and screaming at the screen, and you know. And they kind of marrying it with the romantic kind of comedy genre in this one, so it's a perfect Valentine's movie, I think, right?
Exactly.
Yep. They throw a tad of the romance and comedy in there, and then they just go to town with the knives and the gore and the blood.
Was it all practical gore though? Were you guys like really being soaked with like buckets of blood on the set, as opposed to movies where they kind of throw in CGI everywhere?
Oh no, it was practical.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very practical.
Yeah, I think the best horror movies are still using, you know, mostly practical. I don't think you could do it without the buckets of blood and the guy with the rubber knife and the, you know, it's just you get the feel. So.
And my last thing I have to say, Devon, we're such huge fans of Chucky on JoBlo, and we're really pulling for that show to come back, man. I hope it works. We're trying to make something happen.
Listen, Chucky's going to live on regardless of whether it's the show or Don, you know, does another movie, or he is again an iconic character that's been living since '89, I believe, like something like that. So you'll see Chucky again for sure. Hopefully, hopefully I'll be in it dying again.
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo remains an independent company, and we appreciate all of your support.